After we do 60 episodes about all of the topics that we talk about,
Mm-hmm.
it is the law that the 61st episode is the one where you have to switch things up. It's something we can't fight. It's just one of those things. It's in the bylaws of the podcastopedia.
And it also opens up the opportunities for you to talk about other things.
It's true.
But it has to be 61. Mm-hmm. 61 is the legal number.
That's specific.
Mm-hmm.
So, hello, welcome to our new political podcast.
No.
No, of course. That's a... That's a rabbit hole you don't want to fall down.
Nope.
No, but this is episode 61 of the Seasonal Anime Checkup OVA. It's a podcast where we normally have conversations about video games, anime, and manga, but we're not going to talk about either of those. Or all three of those.
All three of them.
Because either would be two. But anyways, I am Jared, joined by our resident best in the world,
Aww.
and Ladyem.
Hi.
I feel like after today, that's very appropriate.
Oh, after today, I just need like 1,000,010 naps.
Your body's like, oh god, we can actually relax after like 2 days or more of just being like...
Yeah, legitimately, like my body's like, oh, we haven't eaten in like over 24 hours. Maybe we should do something about that.
What? Oh, right, food. That's a thing we have to get. I forgot about that.
Yeah, so stress is fun.
Stress is fun. Today, hello. We're
Hi.
going to, like we said, not talk about an anime, a video game, or a manga, but instead go a little bit in a different direction. Let's talk about Korean dramas.
Yep.
Oh, man. I feel like if you had told me at the outset of us doing this podcast that, like, hey, one of the episodes you're going to do is a Korean drama, I'd be like, what?
Yeah, because I guess for context, I'm more into this stuff than you are typically.
Yeah, this would be like, hey, maybe Al just took the podcast for a week and decided to do her own thing.
Because I like I watch a Korean variety show every Sunday when they post it, and I've watched a few Korean dramas at this point, and they're really entertaining. And I had heard a lot about this one, like a lot about this one, and like I really think this would be something I'd like. So I decided to sit down and watch it, and I loved it. And then I harassed you endlessly. I'm like, Jared, you have to watch this. You have to watch it. You'd love it. Watch it, please. Please watch it.
All the while, you were also like sending me videos of the show and screen grabs and all that.
Yep. So, mysteriously, for legal reasons, Jared somehow came across a login for a Netflix and ended up watching the show.
It was very mysterious. It just showed up on my doorstep one day and it was like, here's this information, don't tell anyone.
Yeah. And then it was like, go gadget explode.
So yeah, that was the first K-drama I'd watched.
What a good one to start with.
Yeah. Mostly I think just because, like, it's not your prototypical drama. It still has like all those elements in it, but it takes it in just like a different direction than just main girl likes this boy, here comes other boy, oh no, drama.
Yeah, I mean, it had a unique twist on it it made it really enjoyable. And also, I think one aspect of the drama that ended up clicking with us is that it does have video game development in it.
Yeah, because one of the main dudes is the president of a video game development company, which I guess they just make mobile games or something like that.
It seems like they make like knockoff League of Legends style games.
Yeah, because of course, I mean, that is.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
It really does.
Yeah. Korea does a lot of that.
So, I guess we should tell them what it is.
Oh yeah, so
I'm sure they know when they clicked, but still.
Yeah. We're going off the Netflix translation. There's multiple ways you could translate the name of this into English. Netflix calls it Strong Girl Bong-Soon, and then there's other ones that you can use as well. But we're just gonna go off the Netflix one just because it's the one we're most familiar with.
Yep.
But that is the show we are going to talk about today. And I think one reason that like you thought I would be interested in this is because of like the ridiculousness of the show.
Oh, it's ridiculous and I love it.
Like, for those of you who are more familiar with the types of media that we talk about normally on a week-to-week basis, imagine if you took the anime or manga One Punch Man and you gender swapped the main character and then turned it into like a shoujo show while the main character still has superhuman powers.
It's perfect.
That's pretty much what this show is.
And I do want to say, it's very, very rare that as a woman who is 4'11" and like pretty on the minuscule side, I don't ever really get power fantasy media for me.
Yeah, yeah.
And then like in comes Bong-Soon, and she's like a very, very tiny person, and she's in her like mid to late 20s, and she just kicks ass. Like she has superpowers and she's amazing and she can take care of herself, and like at the same time she's still like freaking adorable. One of the cutest Korean actresses I've ever seen. She is so cute.
Yeah.
She's got little bangs.
Which I think like
it's nice.
Yeah, yeah. I actually there was when you were talking about that, I had a question that came into mind.
Okay.
Because you've watched a little bit or a few more of these Korean dramas than I have, obviously, but
I have.
Do they follow the same type of, I guess, like trope or motif that a lot of like anime romances do, where it's like, here's these kids in high school and they're going through their drama stuff, or like, because this show leans more towards adults.
Yeah.
Is there like more of a paradigm shift towards adults in Korean dramas, or is it like a mix in between, or is it one or the other?
I mean, the ones that I've watched, for the most part, lean adult. I think there's only one that I've watched where the main cast were in high school. But I mean, for the most part, every single one of them that I've watched has had like an all adult cast.
Huh.
Which, like you said, very, very different than like anime, where most things are set in high school.
Which may just be, a demographic type of difference between two different medias, because obviously anime and live action are completely separate things, so that just might be that sort of thing. But it was one of those things where I just genuinely didn't know. So
no, I mean, like I said, most of the ones that I've watched have people like in their 20s or like low 30s,
which is good for people like us, old folks.
It is. I mean, it's it's good for us, and we talked about this with the Real Life episode, that like a lot of the people in these dramas are going through things that we have to go through, and it makes it a lot more relatable,
right?
Than if it were like, oh boy, this is another high school setting, and I haven't been in high school in
10 years.
Yeah.
Well, actually, more than that. No, 10
yeah,
years.
Say it. As of
For
May
you, it would be a little
of this
bit more,
year, it'll be 12 as of May, right? 2006. Yeah. It does make it more relatable and more understandable for me as an actual adult woman. TM.
Copyright trademark.
Mm-hmm.
The legendary adult woman.
Yeah, the legendary adult woman.
Can we talk about one of the weird things that I found in this show that I think you told me it was just like a thing in Korean dramas, is like them just randomly censoring things.
Yeah,
and blurring out logos. Logos.
Yeah, that's a very common thing, that they'll like find ways to, and a lot of the time it's not even done well.
Right. It's just like
But
it's one of those things where I guess I'm more curious of like, hey, they can get away with it in Korea,
mm,
but when like you have to do like international rights and all that stuff, there's like, oh crap, we gotta blur this out. Because if you're gonna go to the like the effort of having to blur out logos like every episode,
mm,
it gets to the point where you're just like, why would they even bother letting people like wear clothes that have certain logos on them, or drive cars that have certain logos on them, or just like use any sort of like copyrighted paraphernalia?
yeah, like there's at one point the president has like his gaming basement.
Right.
And like they keep showing all of his arcade machines and
They're all
like
blurred
everything's
out.
blurred. And I'm like, why would you even bother having that in every single episode if you have to blur it? But it's really, really common. They do that all the time. And
But then there was also like the weirdness of like in his office he has a like a racing wheel set up, and there's
mhm.
just a giant Project Cars logo that you can blatantly see throughout most of the episodes. Though it did seem like I think later on, like the latter episodes, they kind of like really trying to shift that thing away so like you couldn't see it. Like it
Yeah.
was hidden off in corners. And then also I think one of the characters, it was like her brother or the cop, was wearing like a Golden State Warriors shirt,
Oh, right. It was her brother.
and like that never got blurred either. So it's like these weird like picking and choosing of like what they can blur and get away with, and it's like it's so baffling.
I think one of my favorite things was us talking about how they were driving a totally not a Hyundai at one point.
Right.
So the entire time we're like, oh, look, it's a totally not a Hyundai.
Ugh.
It, it's just a thing. It happens in all of them. And I mean, you've seen screenshots that I've sent where like they just put like duct tape over part of the word so that you can't tell what it was. So, or you
But
can't
like
tell what it was.
I feel like for like the variety shows or like reality based shows that you watch, kind of like 2 days
Hmm.
one night, like that would make more sense because like obviously if you're gonna let these people like live supposedly how like they normally would, they're gonna
Hmm.
wear like stuff with a bunch of brands and logos and all that sort of stuff. That of course like hey you're gonna have to block this out because you know these brands didn't pay to get in the show, but for scripted dramas it's super weird.
It is. I agree, but it's normal for Korean dramas. So, um, I think part of my I think it's funny in certain instances. Like the totally not a Hyundai was really entertaining to me,
Right? Yeah.
but it does get a little excessive.
I think the arcade cabinet thing is like the most because it's like half the screen is
Always
just
there.
blurred out.
Yeah, it's
He's
weird.
like, what? Why? Just turn them off. That could
Well,
have
and
been the
then
easy
like
solution.
I'm really surprised that the drama that I recently watched just like had straight up Soul Calibur 4 in it. Like,
Right? Yeah.
so go figure. Things
Things are
it
weird.
might just depend on like the
The country and then
the
like what their copyright laws are.
or like the whoever's producing it, like what
Yeah.
company they're with, like what television station, that kind of thing. It
All
may
that sort of
just be
stuff.
that.
It's 100 different layers of like red tape essentially. That would make zero sense.
Yeah. Um, Speaking of like typical things, as we mentioned before, this does have like the typical love story situation that a lot of Korean dramas have, and that like you have the main love interest and you have the second lead who is like the potential love interest, but
Mhm.
he always doesn't get picked. Like that is very, very common in Korean dramas with romance, and it's like that here, but um it didn't feel as like annoying as the most recent drama that I watched.
Well, I think as well they really juxtapose the two characters, the two like love interests against each other.
Yeah, they
Where
do.
it's like here's one's a cop and he's super super serious, and the other one's a CEO of a gaming company. He's supposedly this huge playboy and flamboyant and out
Potentially
there,
gay.
potentially gay as they try to make him. And the ways they interact with Bong-Soon as well are like they're pretty telling because like the cop is It's, for the most part, he's kind of a
Yeah,
to
he's
her.
and like the entire time, I'm like, girl, get over him. He
Yeah.
sucks. And like I kept texting you a lot, like, he's being mean, he sucks.
And like, and the Prez is basically, he's kind of the same, but he's more of like that that Harrison Ford lovable type stereotype. Yeah. Where it's like, oh, I'm kind of a jerk, but I'll like, hey, I'll flash a smile when I'm doing it.
He's also not as like blatantly.
No.
And like he also is more willing to let Bong-Soon like be Bong-Soon.
Right.
And he understands who she is, and he like is kind of, I don't want to say he's in awe of her, but he respects her.
Whereas like with the cop, I think she has to put on this like other persona to even interact with him.
Yeah.
But I mean, that could be just the difference of the cop doesn't know about her abilities and the Prez does.
Yeah. One thing that I want to mention is that like there's a scene very, very like at the very beginning of the show that I think is really indicative of the entirety of the show. So you see like a bus with school kids, and it's driven by like an old man, and he pulls into like a construction area, and he's upset because the road's blocked, and that's where he normally goes. So he goes and talks to some of the construction guys, and they're like threatening to beat him up. I think they do beat him up at one point, or like push him down.
They throw his phone, I think.
Oh, okay. And
they might push him down.
And then Bong-Soon comes by, and she's like dressed all pretty like, and you know, she's got her hair all fancied. She's adorable. Yeah, she is. And then she like looks and sees what's going on, and she makes a sound like, you know, she's frustrated because she doesn't want to get involved, but she will.
Yeah.
And so she goes over there and she asks them like, what's going on? And then they explain the situation, make fun of her. I think they break her phone.
Yes, that's right.
And because she was like threatening to call the authorities. And so at this point she's like, nah, we're done. And you get the like main theme of the drama, which is Superpower Girl. And it's super catchy, and it's amazing.
It's a jam.
And it is a super jam. And you just get her annihilating the entirety of the construction crew.
It's real good.
Construction crew in like quotation marks. But I mean, she's like punching them into space and like breaking bricks and pretty much obliterates them. And the kids are all on the bus cheering for her, and everybody's real excited. And she sends all the guys to the hospital, and then they all have to like all people involved end up going to the police station to give their statements. And all the police are like, you mean this girl beat up all of you? Well, the kids said that's what happened. The kids said that.
And she tries to play it off, and like the mobsters are like trying to argue that that's what happened. And like anytime she looks back at them, there's like it's like shut up and just like quiver in fear.
I think they make a joke that like the kids have been watching too many superhero movies.
Yeah.
So like she gets off because otherwise she would be like charged for like assaulting them.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's like the greatest way to introduce Bong-Soon as like a character with her superpowers is just that entire scene.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. And I guess why she has her superpowers is important because
True.
it runs in the female line and her family. And they're supposed to use it for like good purposes. And you see the consequences of not using it for good purposes because her mother no longer has that ability.
Because she basically like tried to cheat her way and became like this Olympic power lifter.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how like she was able to like have such like successful athletic career. But then eventually it was like, nope, you're not getting this anymore. And like it just like it gave her
it gave Bong-Soon a fear of like not using the ability because she was
True.
always afraid she was going to use it wrong and get him taken away. But she was also afraid of like people judging her for it.
Yeah,
Because like her twin doesn't have this ability.
because he's a
He's a
dude.
boy. And there is like some interesting family dynamics in that situation, and that like her mom obviously has some issues left from losing her powers.
Hmm.
She has issues in the sense of like she's like abusive to Bong Soon's dad.
Yeah,
Um, who is great by the way. He's a fantastic dude.
he really
Really,
is.
really funny character.
He loves wearing
And
his
his
Korean
tracksuit.
his Korean tracksuit all the time.
He does. It's so great. And then like Bong Soon's mom's always really, really harsh on her, but not so harsh on her twin brother
Hmm.
because he's a doctor in training. I forget what they're called, a resident.
Yeah, yeah.
So she's always pushing for Bong Soon to like get married and those kinds of shenanigans.
And even like later on, she tries to like explain the reasons why like she always gave Bong Soon such a hard time. She's like, "Oh, your brother's so frail and weak, and had such a hard time growing up that couldn't be hard on him."
Yeah, you can't do that as a parent.
Yeah,
I think she's one of the most unlikable characters in the entire drama.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bong Soon's mom's terrible.
Maybe not the most unlikable, but she's up there.
She's up there. So it's really a fascinating story that they're like, okay, so this is a family line thing, and eventually you meet Bong Soon's grandma who has that ability. That's pretty funny too.
Hmm.
But so that's the backstory on why this girl actually has superpowers.
I think it's real like interesting as well. That, like, obviously, the main plot is like the romance angle,
Hmm.
and then there's a sub main plot of the whole kidnapping arc that
Yep.
runs throughout the entire series. But there's so many like weird subplots to the show that
Oh
are
yeah,
absolutely just ridiculous.
like the whole like construction company.
Like all of the mobsters who want to like get back at her, and that leads to like all the way to like the top of the hierarchy of them, and like the boss knows the president and all of that. Bong Soon just adopting a bunch of high schoolers and trying to teach them good.
That one's really funny.
It's
I
the
love that she gets her
best.
little gang of high schoolers. And then there's like the sub romantic plot of like her twin brother
Hmm.
and like whether or not he's gonna date somebody in particular. But I mean, there's a lot going on, but I don't think that it's necessarily a bad thing. I know that several people, because I sometimes read like summaries of the episodes after I've watched them to make sure I didn't miss anything.
Right.
Because I don't know Korean. I know words here and there, and I can read like what the sounds would be, but I don't know what they mean.
Right.
So sometimes I miss things. So I read through them, and a lot of people are like, "There's just too many subplots," and I don't know that it ever really got to the point where it was overtly convoluted that I was upset.
Right. Because I mean, obviously there's a big difference between just like the ways that the amount of time they have per episode is different than
Hmm.
shows here. Like obviously an hour long show is going to be like 45 minutes ish if you factor in commercials and all that stuff. These
Right.
episodes were like what, like an hour 10, hour 20
Yep.
per,
Yep.
and it's 16 episodes for the entire series. So like that's a lot of time you have to fill.
Mm-hmm.
And having all these subplots in there like helps pad out that time. But like you said, I don't think any of them felt overtly convoluted or like made the show confusing in any way. If anything, it was just like, here's a break from the main action. We can go to this.
But a
And
lot of times it's comic relief.
yeah, exactly.
Like, because overall I'd say this show is pretty comedic, but like the gang of high schoolers was the one that I saw complain about the most. And I was like, I love that. I don't
That
know
was
why
like one of
anyone
the
would
best.
ever complain about that because it was hilarious. And you were talking about how there are all kinds of plots, like the romance subplot and like the romance plot, the kidnapping subplot, the other plots within it. There's also like an overarching theme of Bong Soon like accepting who she is and her
Hmm.
abilities, and I
Yeah.
feel like that was really important
Yeah.
instead of her just like being static throughout the series.
Yeah, because imagine if that character didn't grow at all throughout the entire series and was like the same from the beginning all the way to the end. Like, the show would be over in 8 episodes because nothing would get done.
Yeah. So I appreciate that they had her like tackle her own feelings about who she is and what she's about.
Mm-hmm. I guess we should probably mention the kidnapping stuff because we said that was like a big, like the main subplot essentially.
Yeah, and it's significant because it drives a lot of motivations here,
Mm-hmm.
and it since the second male lead is a cop, obviously he's very related to the situation.
Because essentially he gets demoted
Mm-hmm.
for some reason that I'm blanking on, and gets dropped down to this unit that basically are in charge of that kidnapping case for a majority of the show, but then eventually they get taken off it because the chief or whoever is pretty incompetent, essentially.
You mean watching CSI is not the best way to be a detective?
It's true.
Or Law and Order? I don't remember which one it was.
And eating a bunch of like noodles,
He eats a lot of instant ramen.
but he's got his instinct.
Yeah,
It's never
well, and
wrong.
one thing that he talks about is that like he says that Western crime shows are the best model for how to solve them, and it's fascinating. But he ends up on like this ragtag group of cop.
Like they're basically like just like the slums of the cop,
Yeah.
like the police station essentially. But they're the ones who are like out there trying to get things done because everything else is holding them back. But it's also just interesting as well because you go into the show and you don't expect it to become a crime drama at some point.
Yeah, for real. Like you, especially looking at the like I don't want to say the poster, that's not right, but the Netflix picture that it shows you,
Mm-hmm.
it's like pink and adorable, and then you get in there and it's like, oh, there's this really horrific kidnapping story here.
Yeah, it basically does not telegraph at all like how dark the show can get
Yeah, because there's this guy who, for a long time in the series, they just like show him as this man with no face.
because he wears
And
this like featureless mask that's like bald, and like the only thing you can see are is like his eyes and his mouth.
hmm which is really creepy.
Yeah.
And he tries kidnapping people. He murders one. And then he ends up kidnapping several others. And so it becomes an issue where like, Bong-Soon's neighborhood is no longer safe
Mm-hmm.
because people are scared of this kidnapper and murderer.
And he's basically like kidnapping people to like make them his wives.
Yeah,
'Cause he's,
based
like,
off of a play that he
yeah.
enjoyed. He's psycho. And he's only targeting like taller, skinny women.
Mm-hmm.
And except for one, he does have one exception. But so the murder happens, and they end up bringing in like the fiance
Right. Yeah.
as the witness, and turns out that that was a sleight of hand, if you will.
Hoocha.
He decided he was gonna put surveillance all over all the cop areas.
Which they never noticed until like way later on.
Which, like, how do you not notice that? You're a cop. It's
Yeah.
your job. But yeah, whatever. Do what you do. So, the second lead, Mr. Cop Man, I'm gonna try to say his name. Gugdu is a general approximation of how you would say it, I think.
Yeah, there's a reason we're not saying the names because we would probably be horribly butchering them.
And
At
I
least
really
for
don't want
me.
to butcher them.
Yeah.
But he kind of becomes like one track minded on like must solve case,
Mhm.
must solve case. And so I mean it gets really intense at times.
I mean, like near the end, there's like some incredibly intense moments.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it gets really freaking intense, and like not something I was expecting from a Korean drama because I'd never seen anything like it in a Korean drama before.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it added a little bit more to the story than just like this is a love story and that's
Right,
it.
yeah.
And it also allowed Bong-Soon to like shine.
Yeah, because eventually she gets involved in that whole ordeal, and she basically decides to make it her own mission. Be like, okay, I'm gonna stop this dude. Like, enough's enough.
Yeah, because he kidnaps her friend,
Mm-hmm.
and so
then like
yeah,
that runs in parallel with like the cops trying to like bring him in because like she's gonna go do her own thing. So there's drama there, and of course like the Prez like knows about all this, so he's like, I don't want you to do this. There's drama there.
all
Spoilers.
while
There's drama everywhere.
there's drama everywhere. All while this is going on, there's also the subplot of somebody's trying to get the president out of his position of president at Ansoft.
Einsoft.
And so like he gets shot at one point,
Yeah.
and I mean things are crazy for him. He's getting threatening emails every single day,
And like tailed and all this sort of stuff.
and he's looking for a bodyguard. He's in the market.
Which that wraps back around to the first episode because he's the one who sees her do all that stuff at like the construction site.
Yep.
And like goes to the police station to give a report and all that stuff. And then like when they both leave, he's like, "Hey, why don't you be my bodyguard?"
And so that's how they actually like meet up and start
Working
starting
together.
their relationship, I guess, because she's like, "I really need a job," and he's like, "Well, do I have a job for you? Take care of me."
I mean, all the while she also has like she wants to work on her own game, so she sees this as an opportunity. Like, okay, if I do this, eventually I could probably parlay what I want to do into what I'm actually doing.
Yeah, she makes it like part of her contract that there's a possibility for her to get put onto the actual team to make games, and so she wants to be a game developer, but she ends up becoming the bodyguard, and it's really, really funny.
It's a very roundabout way to get what you want.
Which, worth mentioning that, like, the president at first comes off as, like, a mega tool because one of the first things you see him doing is, like, riding along the sidewalk on his freaking, like, hoverboard and stupid sunglasses, and you're like, what are you?
Oh, I forgot about that.
And that hoverboard just keeps coming back in the series. I'm like, oh no, son. No. It's a nightmare. I love it.
And there's also the big thing for him that like early on we see this like flashback that he'd been involved with in like this bus crash.
He was on the way to see his mom's or go to his mom's memorial or funeral or gravesite or something like that.
And like they're about to like run in, like the bus is about to like run over these people walking on the sidewalk because the bus is completely out of control, and
brakes don't work.
Yeah, and it eventually stops, and like he looks out the back and sees this girl, or at least someone with like a pink hoodie, and
he has dreams about her.
He has dreams about her, and like the way to get into his like his secret basement area is via this painting that is of that moment.
Yep.
Of that person.
And you know, I figured it out pretty soon who it was. It took him like at least half of the series to figure out. It wasn't that hard to figure out. It wasn't that hard to figure out, but it was funny. Like the one moment that he finally figured out, he's like, "It was you." I'm like, "You just now put it together? Come on." It's funny. There has to be some sort of like suspension of disbelief when it comes to K-dramas because sometimes people make decisions that are you're like, why would you possibly do this?
It's like the magical girl suspension of disbelief for like, oh, these two characters have the same hairstyle and everything, and they look very much the same. Clearly not the same person.
So Bong-Soon initially like hates President.
Right.
Like she thinks he's obnoxious, and to be fair, at the beginning he kind of is. And she has like the biggest crush on Cop. And has since like middle school.
Yeah.
And so she always like becomes very like demure and cutesy around him, trying to impress him. And also, he has a girlfriend.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
Yeah, yeah, he has a girlfriend who's like
A
cellist.
cellist? Giant bass string instrumentist?
Yeah, I think she's a cellist. And so, but said girlfriend is feeling quite neglected because of
Because he's a cop and
the
yeah.
cop job.
Yeah.
And doesn't he miss like whatever day it is that the dudes are supposed to give chocolates? White Day?
White Day, maybe? He misses something, I
He
think.
misses something important and it upsets her. But I mean, there's just drama everywhere with all these characters. Everybody's got problems.
Literally.
One of my favorites is that there's this recurring character throughout the entirety of the series that you see him in the first episode. He's one of the guys who gets the ever-loving crap beat out of him by Bong-Soon.
Mm-hmm.
And he just keeps reappearing and reappearing, and like his injuries keep getting more grave. He's hilarious. I love that character. Like, he's obviously a scumbag, but at the same time, like, he just there's one point where he's like in a full body cast with his arms and legs suspended and like trying to drink out of a straw.
And of course, like the person attending to them, like all of those guys, is Bong-Soon's brother.
Yeah, Bong-Soon's twin. And at one point, he's like, "You got to stop sending people to our hospital because we're running out of hospital beds."
I think like it's also telling that like the show knew that actor was very talented because they gave him two different roles.
Two different roles, and he pulls them off perfectly. Like,
he does.
It's not immediately clear that it's the same guy. But when it does become clear, you're like, oh. Because Bong-Soon keeps like making a face and she's like, "Do you have a brother?"
Yeah.
And like once I put it all together, I was like, that's why. But he's great in both the roles that he plays, and they are so different. So it shows a fabulous, fabulous range on this guy.
Because he's the mobster in like the first half, and then the second half he becomes a member of Einsoft, like one of like the top like leads of development,
like creative director.
Yeah, and then obviously Bong-Soon starts working under him. That leads to some fun stuff.
Yeah, because he has a crush on the president, and Bong-Soon is like dating the president, so he sees her as a threat, and she pulls some awesome things on him as well.
It just makes him go crazy.
It's great. It's so good. And I think that's the thing, is that this show is really consistent about keeping up the comedy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it knows that there are parts of this series that are super, super serious, and they keep a really great balance of making sure that you're not always like into the real deep stuff.
Yeah, because even like they don't really intermingle the two either. Like if this is a super serious moment, you're not going to get comedy here.
Yeah, I know.
So like that's also a good thing. And it's obviously it's sometimes a difficult balance to like keep those two things in check. But I think this show does a really good job of doing that. Because if it was just like, you know, super, super, super serious drama, it would be a lot to get through.
Yeah.
But, you know, spreading out like some comedy here and there really like just makes the people who are watching it have a sense of relief, like take a quick breath in between some crazy stuff. And it just really like, especially because, you know, these episodes are very long, it really helps, you know, make you able to digest all of these episodes in a way that if it was all super serious or all just comedy, it would probably be a lot harder to get through.
One thing that I did want to say is that obviously that guy is a comedic actor. Mm-hmm. And the second character that he plays, who's the creative director for making games, he is very openly, blatantly gay. But it doesn't come across as like Atlas levels of like atrociousness.
Yeah, they're not making him like a sexual predator.
Yeah, like they treat him as a human being, and yes, he does have a crush on the president, but like being gay is not his entire character.
Right.
And I was actually really impressed by that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because I mean, it's not something you see very often, and like, yeah, he is goofy and he dresses strange, and like he does talk about his crush all the time, but like he's also a really successful person at his job, and like
They're not sitting there making fun of him for it or like holding it against him for it.
yeah, nobody's like nobody in the series is like, yeah, no, this isn't okay. I think at one point they make a reference because the personal assistant's like, yeah, no, I'm not into dudes. But I mean, they don't play off this guy being a gay character as anything like atrocious, and so that was pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm.
And wasn't really something I was expecting because when I first saw the guy, I was like, oh, it's gonna be one of those situations.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But they handled it really well, and they do keep saying at the beginning like that the president is gay.
Mm-hmm.
And I never quite figured out why they did that.
I thought it was just like
A misunderstanding.
it was a misunderstanding, but also wasn't it something like he made up, just like he wouldn't have to deal with like relationships or anything like that?
Potentially, yeah, because he makes his own jokes about it.
Yeah.
But it was just bizarre because there's a whole lot of explanation with Bong-Soon. Her mom's obsessed with getting her married to this guy, and she's like, "Ma, he's not even into girls."
Because even like she,
that's okay.
yeah, like, and then she brings it up to the cop, and like, and he just like plays with it. He just goes along with it. The president does, not the cop.
Yeah, yeah. Like
Clarification.
One of my favorite lines in the entire series is they're talking about the cop, and the president's like, "I love men with a pretty butt." And it was just such a funny line. And he was referring to the cop, which like cop didn't have a bad butt, that's for sure.
May have been a jerk, but he's got a good butt.
Yeah. Sometimes not even the good butt can make up for it. That's a statement I never thought I would say.
Oh boy.
So I mean, a lot of the first few episodes are like them adjusting to her being his new bodyguard and her still trying to pursue cop. And mainly they're trying to figure out like what's going on with the president, like why people are so against him and wants him to step down, and they're trying to figure out like who it is.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the first like big plot points.
Which is also weird because like they have that like as like a big plot point, but once they finish it, it's like it's done. Forget it. We're good.
Yeah. Yeah.
They get it done, get it out of the way, and they're like, all right, enough of that.
Time for some romance.
Time for some romance and other drama. Which almost kind of makes it feel like I kind of understand why they did it, but it with how quickly they just like get rid of it, it almost kind of felt like it was just like it's tacked on there for some reason.
Yeah, I feel like it was one, a way to get her there, and then two, then she's been established. Once that's gone away, then she has the opportunity to be put into the division of making games.
Yeah, it's like, oh, it's something that really didn't need to be like stretched out for the entirety of the show.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was a plot point, and it served its purpose. Like, the fact that he got shot at one point, I was like, what the heck?
Yeah.
He's fine.
He's fine.
He only got a little shot.
People get shot in this show.
Yeah, they do.
Yep, that's it.
I'm trying to remember, her parents run a walnut bakery.
Yeah.
And that's another little bit of a plot, is that once all the kidnappings and murder starts happening, the neighborhood is considered like dangerous, and so there's an effort to like, hey, maybe we should rebuild it into a nicer neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
And you have like Bong-Soon and all her like cackling hens trying to figure out what's going on with the that, and they're against the cop's mom, who's a writer.
Who her dad is
And
like reading her
he's
books and all that stuff.
he's a little smitten, but it's weird how mean they are.
And then eventually her mom and that group run up against the mobsters because they're in charge of like the redevelopment project.
Yeah.
It's so
They're,
like it's so
trying to teach the mobster like how to eat the tarts
yeah.
properly.
It's so just weird how like all of these characters get so intermingled.
Yeah. Yeah, people interact that you would never think would interact, and like once the mom has met the mobster and like he gets beat up at one point and she's like, you know what, help you feces wine, here's some feces wine, and like things that you would never expect to happen in this drama happen in this drama.
He drinks it and then he decides he has to leave and become a Buddhist monk.
Yeah, that was a really funny subplot. I don't even know why it existed, but it was great.
Oh.
And, like the other Buddhist monk was like a fraud the whole
Yeah.
time. Like, but he's Korean. Like, well, maybe he lived there and he was of Korean descent. It's fantastic.
So good.
I think that this drama pulled off the like first love interest and second love interest better than many of them that I've watched. Because yeah, the cop is there, but he's never supposed to be like extremely likable.
Right.
And like he's always been really mean to her, and you know, I appreciate him trying to protect her at times, and but it gets somewhat excessive and annoying. But it also just upset me that like she never was comfortable enough with herself to talk to him about like who she was, and I feel like that right there was one of the big differences between the two, because he never knew and she didn't feel comfortable telling him, whereas President knew and supported it and was actually like, you know, it'd be a good idea to train so that you can like control it better. And so like he was trying really hard to help her, and
let's go learn some jujitsu.
Yeah. So instead of just having raw power, she has like the abilities to go along with it.
Yeah, she can actually like defend herself. She gets into like some bad situations, which she does later on.
Yeah. She kicks so much butt in this entire show. So much butt. It's impressive. And I love it. Like even as something as simple as like the one high schooler where she like ties his shoelaces way too tight.
Mm-hmm.
Because she has that power to do so. She's amazing. I love her. I guess like one thing, should I talk about like the kidnapper plot and how all that craziness goes down and ends up with a bomb?
Sure. Hey, spoilers, just in case.
We've been talking about spoilers this whole time.
Well, I mean, not like late game spoilers.
All right. Well,
like late plot spoilers. So,
is there anything we should talk about before we talk about this?
No, I think we're good. We could probably go to there.
Okay. So this kidnapper guy, as we mentioned, he has like 3 different girls, one of them being Bong-Soon's friend. And he got Bong-Soon's friend because he knew that she was involved at some level.
Mm-hmm.
And she actually goes against his like MO because she's not like a tall, thin woman. And he like threatens to starve her to make her get to the point where she would be as thin as he wanted. But he's obsessed with this play that has like 7 brides, and that's gonna be his harem, I guess. And he runs a junkyard, and the cop is always on to him, like for the longest time. And he had gone up. He was the fiance that did the testimony.
Right.
but he was using the cop's girlfriend as a decoy so he could steal the best friend. And it's in like a junkyard. It like underneath the junkyard is where he was keeping them.
Right.
Is that right?
It was like a junkyard slash kind of like
Parts.
a parts store, like a mechanic shop, but like they
Yeah,
also like crush cars and stuff like that. So
which he does.
yeah.
Um, and so he has an assistant, and his assistant is basically being paid off in like drugs.
Mm-hmm.
And Bong-Soon, as you mentioned earlier, makes it like her personal mission to end this man. And one thing that's really bizarre to me, and we talked about this when it happened, is that at one point the cop is on his trail and the guy gets into a car accident and like lands in the water.
Yeah.
And the cop just stands there like looking out in the distance. Like, oh, it's finally over. But like, he didn't go check to see if there was a body. He didn't go check to see. It was bizarre. And of course, there wasn't a body because he got out.
Yeah, it's like because they like even like all the cops come and like try and search this little pond area, but somehow he's able to like get away scot free, and they don't notice like he's left a jacket or anything for like the longest time. It was very weird.
Yeah, so he goes and like cuts all his hair and becomes like a professional journalist kind of guy. And he decides that he's going to take down Bong-Soon.
So,
And
so that's when he goes like to Einsoft and
yeah. Is this after she freed everybody or is it before?
I think this is after because this is basically them leading to the final showdown.
Yeah, so because at one point she finds out where they are, well, all the girls are, and she keeps saying like, "Hey, I know where they are. You should go get them. I know where they are. You should do something about it." And then finally she's like, "F it, I'm gonna do something about it." And so she goes down there and like starts ripping the bars off of the doors so that the girls can get out. She helps them all out. He sets the place on fire, trying to get rid of any evidence and them, but Bong-Soon successfully gets everybody out, and so he has a grudge against her specifically. And he decides that there's one part where he decides he's going to go into the office building, and he comes in as a journalist. He's cut his hair. Miraculously, his hair looks fantastic, even though he cut it himself with scissors. And he kidnaps Bong-Soon.
Which it should be also clarified, at this point in time, she's lost her powers.
She lost her powers because he did a setup.
Mm-hmm.
He found out that if she hurt somebody that wasn't innocent with her powers, that she would lose them. So he made it seem like he was going to be at this one area. And so she went and I forget exactly how she did it, but she ended up hurting somebody that wasn't him, thinking that it was him. So she lost her powers.
Mm-hmm.
And she doesn't really know how to function without them. Like, she's really confused, and it shows her at one point like trying to break the walnuts and she can't do it. And so yeah, he's in the building and he kidnaps her. She has no powers. And the cop is like sitting there with his thumb up his the entire time doing nothing. Like, everybody's evacuating. And the guy just like keeps running up and down the stairwells, and I'm like, "What are you doing, sir? You're useless."
Because the president basically puts the entire building on lockdown because he knows what happened.
Mm-hmm.
But it really doesn't. It doesn't help because the kidnapper's able to get Bong-Soon and then take her up to like the roof and lock her up in chains, and then strap a bomb to her.
And then lock her in the room.
Yeah.
Which, this is some of the best acting of this entire drama, because like she is sobbing hysterically. Like, it's ugly crying and it's desperate crying.
Yeah.
And President is like throwing himself against the door and talking to her, like trying to get her out. And I mean, the acting in that entire scene is just beautiful.
Like at one point, you even see like his hands are like all bloodied from just trying to break the door down.
Yeah. He like messes up his shoulder. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it's intense. He tried really hard, and uh obviously at the last minute Bong-Soon gets her powers back and is able to throw the bomb, and somehow they're fireworks.
Yeah.
Yay!
Because that's what happens.
Yeah, but that also means that the guy is still on the loose, but he did not take down Bong-Soon.
Mm-hmm.
And Bong-Soon is now powerful
And
again.
she's pissed.
Oh, yes, she is. Well, because one, she found out that the president was like willing to die with her, which is intense.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's something that you never expect to find out. But yeah, she's done. She's like, all right, we're taking this dude down. He's done.
Super done.
And the way that they do it was also a fantastic scene visually.
Mm-hmm.
It's got some like Matrix in it, but she just like shows up and it starts like crushing walnuts in this like shipyard area because they know that he's trying to run.
Because they get like the mobsters together and use like their information network to figure out, okay, hey, has anyone see this guy? Is there any boats leaving the country that someone could board? All that sort of stuff. So like they find out like, oh, he's gonna be probably going this place. He's also bought a sniper rifle at one point.
Yep.
So there's all that happening.
Yeah, he tried to snipe Bong-Soon at one point, but she had on a bulletproof vest, and I'm glad that he didn't aim for her head because she didn't have a bulletproof helmet.
No. And then cop like shoots him when he's driving away.
Yep.
That leads us all to the shipyard.
The shipyard is fantastic. So yeah, he comes and he sees Bong-Soon. She is so mad. Like I said, she's got walnuts. She's sitting there like crushing them with her hand, which is like the greatest thing in the world. This tiny girl just
Crushing
the walnuts as she's looking at him and basically telling him like, you f***ed up, son. And the cop and the president are both in on it.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're going through like all the shipping areas. She's just beating the ever loving crap out of him. He's running, and president is running a drone. So he's got a drone over the whole situation to make sure what's going on. I don't even remember what cop was doing.
Was he also like running after him?
He might have been, because I know that he might have been moving the shipping containers. Because when
she was.
Oh, she was. Oh,
Yeah.
You're right. You're right.
But I think he was basically like leading him to her.
Yeah, because when he turns the corner, like you see the cage, she's able to just like bloop.
just throws it on top of him.
It's great. He's so mad, and you can see like the cop and the president standing next to each other. The president's got his little drone controller, and they're smiling. It's fantastic. It was a really satisfying end to that plot.
Yeah.
Because he ends up in like a mental health facility prison type thing.
Mm-hmm.
And
like solitary.
yeah, and Bong-Soon kicked his ass, and I loved it.
Yeah.
She's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, she ends up dating the president.
Yeah.
As opposed to cop.
Which everyone's happy with.
Yeah, the cop figures out at one point that he has feelings for her, but at that point, it's just too late. And they go through a flashback about how he's talking about like how he likes delicate women that he feels like he can protect, and so that's why Bong-Soon's been faking it this whole time, is because she was trying to impress him.
Mm-hmm.
Which is really depressing. It's so sad.
Yeah.
But now the president knows that it was her that saved the bus full of people, so that's good. And I think the time that she realizes how much the president cares about her is during the warehouse scene.
Yeah.
Because all the mobsters decide that they're going to get revenge on her
They're going to fight her.
Yeah, they're going to fight her for destroying everybody in the beginning. So, like, that's going to work. So they fake a kidnapping of her mother and tell her to come alone to this warehouse, and it ends up becoming a scene straight out of a video game. Like, it's her against a ton of dudes just beating the crap out of them, but her learning from the president helps a lot in surviving this.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all hand to hand until the one guy who keeps repeatedly coming up and getting more injured decides, hey, I'm going to take out a knife. And 3 things happen at this point. 1, President takes the knife for Bong-Soon because Bong-Soon is strong, but she's not invincible.
Correct.
So he gets stabbed. 2, Cop realizes that she has superpowers.
Yep.
3, the head mobster's like, I'm done. I respect this girl. I'm out. Do you want a job? I'll give you a job.
He's also very upset that, like, the guy, like, tried to stab her. He's like, what the f***? That's not how we roll.
That's not our rules, man.
Also, doesn't, like, the cop, like, beat the shit out of that dude because he tried to stab her?
Yeah. Like, it's brutal. He beats the ever-loving. That's how he gets in the full body cast.
Right.
Is because the cop just, like, destroys him. It's great. There's also a 5 centimeters per second
right
reference in this, which both of us have watched it, like, because we did our podcast on that.
We did.
It was last. Did we do it? I thought we did.
Yeah, it was sometime last year, like in the, I think the fall.
I think so. So we did a podcast on that, and then once it appeared in Bong-Soon, I was like, "What? I know what that is." Because he even says, like, I saw it in a movie once. I was like, oh.
Which is interesting, specifically because, like, the show came out last year in 2017.
Yeah.
And that movie was, like, it would be, like, what, like 5-6 years old by that point?
Yeah.
It's a strange thing to reference.
It is, but I was real excited that he referenced
same.
So that was funny. It's like this beautiful cherry blossom scene that he references. 5 centimeters per second. And we were both kind of like,
I get that reference.
Is there anything that we would need to talk about before we talk about the ending? Yes, we need to talk about the fact that, like, the high school fan club boys that she adopts, not literally adopts, but adopts. At one point, they're watching a video of her, like, beating the crap out of somebody, and they're singing the theme song.
Right.
And it's adorable. Anyway, is there anything else we should talk about before we talk about the ending?
Not that I can think of.
Because the ending was great.
Yeah.
So they get married, her and President, which is what her mom's always wanted.
And basically, like, everyone shows up except the high school kids. And I was very sad about that. I wanted her little kid gang to show up there and be very excited.
I wanted them to show up and, like, say hi to her, but everybody showed up. Like, the mobsters are there, and the cop shows up. Everybody shows up, and, like, give their best wishes.
Mm-hmm.
And so they get married, and then, like, you get a little bit of a flash forward, and they have twins.
Mm-hmm.
They are not twins like Bong-Soon and her brother. They are both girls.
Mm-hmm.
The superpower gene goes on the women's side of her family. They have 2 superpowered babies.
And to the surprise of no one, they're on the constant search for someone who could come babysit them because, oh God, the turnover rate for this is very bad.
Which, because Bong-Soon's no longer, like, the bodyguard or anything, what she started doing is she's basically, like, vigilante justice.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. And the president's trying to take care of the babies, and it's...
Like, at one point, he brings in, like, 2 people from, like, the mob.
The mob.
And they, like, just quit, like, the first day. Like, nope, we can't deal with this. Because they're just getting beat up by these kids, these little babies.
Yeah, they come up with, like, bruises and stuff. These little babies are... Oh, my gosh. So, they can't keep a babysitter because of the 2 superpowered babies. And I really cannot think of a better way to end this drama than that. I
Yeah.
really, really can't. It was so funny.
Yeah.
And I mean, overall, I think it was a fantastic. It's my favorite Korean drama I've ever watched.
That's high praise.
It is because I've watched several with Donggu in it, and he's beautiful. So, um, but the plot of this one, the characters of this one, like the chemistry between all the people, it all just works
Mm-hmm.
in a way that like you wouldn't expect it to do. Like if I wrote all this down on paper and was like, "This is gonna be a show," you're like, "What? Is this all the same show?" But it is, and it works fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so I think I want to know what you think because you don't watch Korean dramas or Korean TV or anything. So,
Right.
like, what were your thoughts coming out of this besides just in general you liked it?
I thought it was great. Like, it certainly kind of subverted my expectations of what like Korean dramas usually are.
Mm-hmm.
Which I mean, I think it just does that in general, but I don't know if it wasn't like if it didn't have all like the fun stuff in it and just like the wackiness and the seriousness, if I would have liked it as much if it was just like just straight up drama.
Yeah.
But for a first experience with Korean dramas, like this is, I don't see how you could do any better.
Yeah, I don't either. I mean, it's a really, really fantastic start. And I mean, it was one of the highest rated dramas ever.
Mm-hmm.
People loved it.
Yeah.
And I understand why, but it's, I'm glad that this was your first.
Yeah. I'm glad you constantly hounded me until I watched it.
That's the thing that I'll do it. And it's like the two of us hound each other to watch or play other medias.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically what we do. That's our friendship.
Yep.
It's like, hey, have you watched this? No. Watch it now. Watch it now. I'll watch it with you. Like we just had this discussion about Indiana Jones films and Jurassic Park.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, oh, I haven't seen these. Watch it now.
Yep.
I'll watch it with you.
That's exactly what happened.
So this is kind of our friendship, and this is one of the situations where that happened, and that I absolutely love, love, love Bong-Soon. I think it is a fantastic piece of media, and honestly, I think that even people that like have no interest in, like, you are the same way. Like, if you don't have an interest in Korean drama to begin with, I still feel like this is a really enjoyable show for anybody.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that.
Like yes, it's gonna have subtitles, so that pulls out some people who wouldn't like it, but I think it's just a good show in general. I like men with a pretty butt.
You would not be surprised how many times I have seen that been sent to me.
I also have an edited version that I made where I took out men and just put anybody with a pretty butt.
Yep.
So I have both versions on my phone that sometimes have to be sent.
Oh.
It's good. It's really, really good.
It is.
I think there's like a really cute line at one point. I'm trying to remember exactly how it's worded. It's basically like he calls her a peanut. The president calls her a peanut, and he's like, "You have to be so small so you can fit in my heart." And I'm like, ooh. It's beautiful.
Gotta get those squeals in.
Pretty much. So yeah, this was a really different kind of podcast for us, but I think it worked.
Yeah. We make it work. It's our show. We do what we want. We make things work.
I think though, like, if you have any interest in like actiony stuff, and if you have any interest in like romance shoujo type of stuff, even if you've never watched a Korean drama before, I feel like it's something that you could go into and be like, yeah, all right, I like this.
Yeah, just give it a shot.
Would recommend. And it's on Netflix, or at least it was last time I checked. And it's on Drama Fever as well.
Well, there you go. There's multiple avenues that you can have to watch this show.
Yes.
Yes. Well, I believe that is going to do it for this episode.
61.
We have followed the law to the letter of the law. Our 61st episode.
Strong girl Bong-Soon.
Yep. But if you'd like more from us, go to seasonalcheckup.com or sac.cool, where you can find past episodes of this podcast and other podcasts, like the Seasonal Anime Checkup and Jared and I watch Sailor Moon Crystal. It's where we watch Sailor Moon Crystal and talk about it. And you can also find columns and reviews on the site as well. If you want more from Ladyem, go to Ladyem.com. She's got columns and reviews. They're pretty good.
Yay!
You can also follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/Anime Checkup. It's where we do Twitter. Occasionally.
Last night was great. We did a bunch of Mario Kart tweeting.
You can also support us on Patreon. Patreon.com/SACOVA. If you want to give us a buck and be like, hey, you guys do a good job, we'll be like, hey, thanks.
You're a swell guy. Or lady. Or non-binary.
Next week, I don't know, we're going to climb some stuff and stab it. If Amazon ships me something.
Yeah, hopefully I can, yeah, we could do it.
Yeah.
Because I should have enough time to at least see the differences.
And it's not, if not, it's something you've at least played.
Right, that's what I was thinking, is like, I've played it before, so I think it'll be really interesting to see your thoughts on it. I'm real excited about this upcoming podcast.
Like we said, yeah. So if all things work out, and they should. Next week we will be talking about, thanks to the recent re-release / remake or whatever you want to call it, we'll talk about Shadow of the Colossus. Climb some stuff, stab it.
Ride a horse.
Do all that stuff.
Don't stab the horse, though.